What's up, guys? It is a very exciting day. I am a little bit thrown off. He should be pulling in the driveway any moment right now, but I have Chuck Church Jr. himself coming to pick up my 67 Nova. He is going to be picking up my 67 Nova, and we are going to be heading up to Church Boys Racing in Ohio, Bristolville, Ohio, if you will. And I am so freaking pumped. This has been a long time coming. Last night, it literally felt like the night before Christmas because I have been looking forward to this day for so long. I'm holding my phone because he was texting me telling me that he had just turned onto the road. So this is so exciting. I was gonna take you guys along and show you what all we're packing up today, but I will probably just show us putting that in the car trailer because he should be here any moment now. Okay, so he hasn't quite showed up yet. He's probably going to show up any minute now. He's calling me. Hello?
Hey, so am I able to pull back there with the truck and trailer?
We do have a little bit of a turnaround spot. How big of a trailer do you have?
It's 24 foot enclosed. It's not a semi, but 24 foot enclosed. I just want to make sure I could get back there.
Well, how much skill do you have?
I have enough skill to tear up anybody's lawn.
Okay, yeah, we have lawn for you to tear up.
All right. Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay, perfect. Bye. I need to move my truck out of the way, but yeah. Hi!
There she is.
How exciting!
Yeah, right.
It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh my gosh, how was the drive? I love your truck, by the way. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Ryan, nice to meet you.
But yeah, here she is in person for the first time.
Looks amazing.
Thank you. I was getting all the dust off of her yesterday because she's been sitting for a little bit.
Wow. That's just not nice. That's like really nice. My goodness.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah. We're gonna tear this up in a real big hurry.
You guys, it is official. This spot has not been empty in my garage for almost an entire year. And she is officially picked up and she is going to Nova Heaven, and Chuck Church Jr. is going to take such good care of her. This is an insane opportunity and experience, and I am just so forever grateful. Again, without you guys, I would not have this opportunity or this experience. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming along on the process with me. I know him picking up the car is just going to be a blip for you guys, but it is one of the most exciting days of my life. And I know that sounds so dramatic, but you can have unlimited excited moments in your life, and that is definitely one of my top core memories now. I was so nervous because I just wanted to make sure that I had all of the parts that I needed with a list, making sure that we have everything and that this project is going to go smoothly. And so far, it is perfect. Like, it was so easy to load everything up and get everything put in the trailer. And it makes me so freaking excited to work with them because loading it up was so easy. Like, they just give you such good direction and they give you such good information. And I've already learned like 5 things that I can take with me the rest of my life, from certain ways that you turn a trailer, certain ways that you strap a car down. That was my first time loading a car in a trailer, and they just they just helped so much, gave so much information, and they didn't make me feel silly for not knowing how to do everything. And it was just the greatest experience ever of literally just loading up a car. I seriously cannot express how excited I am for this week. I am so blessed to have this experience and this opportunity. It is all because of you guys. As you can see, she is gone. Her spot in the garage is cleared. Chuck Church Jr. picked her up with his son Ryan, and she's now on her way to the shop, and I'm going to be there bright and early tomorrow morning. Just making her perfect. So I just got here, and you guys can see that he's not been unloaded yet, so I'm assuming that's going to be our first step, but we're going to go say hi to everybody first. Hello. It's looking really good in here.
Yeah, it was a mess yesterday.
Good morning.
I'm Chuck Sr.
Oh,
Chuck's dad.
So nice to
Yes,
meet
you too.
Yeah, I kept calling Chuck Church, and he was like, "It's Chuck Church Jr." And I was
Yes.
like, "Yes,
Yes.
Junior."
He's just senior.
They just
That's
say
his name.
senior.
He's
That's
senior.
it. Yeah.
This is our first time filming and getting to experience this, so we're also like learning the process, but we're super excited.
Yeah. So these are all basically the components you're going to be putting on your car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your average customer can come up and they could. A lot of guys they'll order the lower arms and the sway bar and put that on, and that gives a big improvement, especially with their adjustments. You can keep the alignment in.
Yeah.
You won't lose your alignment. You don't have that eccentric bolt that adjusts the camber
Yeah, that's really nice.
or caster.
And whenever I was here and talking with Chuck last time, this is all available for people at home to purchase, and it's
Yes.
something that is very capable for them to put on easily and to have for their project. So that is really what we wanted to be able to showcase with this project, is that all of this is something that somebody could do at home if they don't have the luxury of bringing it in to you guys
Right.
and to have it done.
Because
here.
everything is plug and play here. They bolt in the stock locations, everything that comes off the existing holes, everything goes back in.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Very
Like this
innovative.
cross member, it's your original one is kind of a square, and if the bolt pattern's the same, it bolts right in. Your lower arms, they go in the same pockets, except for these plates get bolted on the front
Yes.
where the old strut rod comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest part of that changing, is getting the strut rods off. Some are riveted on, some people have taken them off already, but that's the toughest part of it. But
Yeah.
other than that, everything is bolted in.
Yeah. Well, that's everything that we are going to want to show, so that people feel a lot more confident to be able to purchase this and work on their own Novas at their home.
Yep. And we, like I said, we use the Viking coilovers. Get the adjustability out of that for the right height that you want. I don't know, are you looking for that low ride look, or are you looking for just a standard stance like this?
Decently low.
Decently low? Okay. Well, a combination of the upper arms and lower arms, you're going to be dropping about 3/4 of an inch anyways. And then when you put the Viking coils, you can adjust that down even lower.
Yeah.
So you don't need a 2-inch drop spindle. To use this kit with the rack and everything, you have to change the oil pan
Okay.
to a rear sump. The Chevy II Nova oil pans has a deep sump in the front, so the rack would hit. So you got to go back to the rear sump pan, which is no big deal. That's an issue with a lot of guys that's doing their Novas. You know, they'll buy a component off of this company, one off of that company, and next thing you know, they're not matching up and they don't fit and they got money tied up.
Yeah.
Where here we know exactly what fits, and he'll be able to get you the proper wheel size, the wheel fitments for your system.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your brakes also has an offset that throws the wheel out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that brake kit that throws the wheel out, then you got to compensate
Yeah.
for your back spacing. If
Yeah.
you don't know that, then you throw $2,000 in rims, put them on, and find out, oh, it's rubbing on my fenders.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
definitely interested in learning more about that because this is my first Nova that I've owned. So I'm really deep diving, but I'm glad that I'm able to bring the audience with us so that they can learn along the way with myself.
Well, they've become popular since, you know, we've come up with this new technology and how you can wheel fitments and the handling on them. You know, they become hot items. Station wagons, we got 2-door hardtops, we got 4 doors. I mean, this little convertible, but again, yes, all these components. You have 2 good mechanics that could put this in a weekend.
Yeah, that's amazing. But also, I think something that is so interesting that we got to experience when we were here last is walking around and seeing the different places that all of the cars come from. And in terms of Novas, everyone has like their specific thing that they like and the way that they want to keep it and the look that they go for, and they're very customizable, which is something that I think is super fun because you can have someone who wants to restore everything on it and have it super clean and nice and show car, and then you just have like the patina and the rowdy ones, and I just think that is so fun because they are so like characteristic and they have so many things that you can do differently to them, and they all look amazing.
Yep. Everybody's got their own style of how they want it to look. Some people like the low ride, some people like it stock height.
Yeah, and that's something that I do enjoy is that there really isn't a wrong or a right way to do it, because sometimes when you get certain makes and models of cars, people are like, oh, they shouldn't have done that, or they shouldn't have kept it like that, and it's like, you know, there's plug and play with Novas, so that's what I really like, because you can basically just show up and enjoy them.
Well, we've had cars that come here that, you know, true SS cars, and they had us tear everything out. The front end, we put the modular front end, we mini tub them, put the rear ends in them, and put all the modern stuff on it. It doesn't devalue the car. It does not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got an SS, you want to keep it original, I mean, that's fine, but also upgrading is
increasing quality.
The way to go.
Yes. And you could drive across country.
Exactly. You can enjoy it more. And that's what it's all about.
Yep. Enjoying the ride.
Good morning.
You guys got here on time, huh?
Yes, of course. We were like 6 minutes late, but I was like...
I know, Dr. Pay already. I adjusted the time clocks for you. And
oh, yeah. Well, I asked him if he even knew that you got in that late. He had no idea.
I probably told him.
Oh. But yeah, we were just talking over here about all of the stuff that we have planned to put on the car and, you know, what everything is, what it does, basically.
Do you know what it does?
Makes it drive a hell of a lot better.
You're gonna experience what it does once we get it all put on, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna be an easy install. Everything bolts in. Actually, the longest part of the install is the teardown.
Yeah.
Taking the old stuff off, that's the hardest part about it.
Yeah.
But it's really not that bad.
And we were talking, the main thing that we talked about last time that I was here, and then also for this project, is to be able to show people at home that this is something that they can order. They can order all of this, and they can do it themselves at home if they don't have the luxury of coming here.
Yes, absolutely. That's
it's always an option to come here.
That's how it started.
So yeah, what is our game plan for today? Is it to start on the teardown?
Yeah, so we didn't, obviously we'll unload the car. We didn't unload anything because you guys weren't here yet. You were late to work.
First day on the job.
Right. So we'll unload all that, highlight everything. We'll get it up on the lift and we'll just explain what the teardown is going to be. We'll go in and knock that out, get that all tore out, and you can help to the fullest extent that you want.
Yes.
Or would rather stand back and narrate if you'd like.
Yes.
How
a little bit of both. I take very good direction.
eyeball that back wheel and then come up to that front wheel, you can see how much is turned just because of the suspension.
So the wheels going in and moving that way is what makes them harder to drive.
Yes, and that's what's called bump steer.
Okay.
So let's say you went over railroad tracks, okay?
Yes.
And you hit that railroad tracks and your car goes up, the wheels and suspension separate. Because of the bad geometry, the wheels actually turn themselves without you doing anything to the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And now the car's all over the place.
Yeah.
When we put the rack and pinion kit on, we'll re-video, re-photo, and the wheels will be basically straight up and down. At the same time the wheels lean in, they're actually leaning in at the top as well. So they turn in and they lean in. There's just all kinds of movement going on that you don't want.
Yeah. And your dad was mentioning that that is like the misalignment, and then it continues to happen over and over again. So once we have the full kit and caboodle on, you'll be able to see that the back wheel and the front wheel will be straight instead of leaned in, and that's how you can tell the difference. So yeah, that, and along with the drive.
It looks like you basically turned the steering wheel. If you look at how much that's turned, if you stand over here, it looks like it wants to make a left-hand turn. And then on the driver's side, it looks like it wants to make it. Alright.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So you see these are all beat up from people using these as jack points. They get compromised. And that's what our subframe connectors, we box this all in and strengthen that whole area. We got rubbing up here. That's due to
The bump steer?
no, that's due to, so this brake kit that's on the car actually pushes the wheels out 5/8 of an inch.
Okay.
And a lot of off-the-shelf rims are not the proper backspace for our early cars.
Yeah.
So you get an improper backspace offset on the rim, and then you get a brake kit that pushes the wheels out. So now the wheel's sitting out here too far, so then every time you turn you can see the paint, see the paint raw.
Oh, that's rough.
Both sides. So if you can move the wheels physically in a little bit more than a 1/2 inch per side, then you alleviate tire rub.
Okay. So first step is all of this is coming off.
Yes.
Okay.
So lower control arms, all the steering linkage, sway bar, brakes, wheels, upper control arm, all that stuff's coming off.
Okay. Perfect. So now that the car is actually up on the lift, we're discussing a few things that we're starting to notice or see, or options that we have. And we're also trying to figure out the best way to explain and show you guys why we are choosing what we're choosing and the choices and options that you have as well.
Yeah, so a lot of these cars, you know, the Riddler wheels, a lot of these wheels are really nice.
Yes.
The problem is you go to a tire store, you go somewhere and you ask for a certain wheel. Okay, I got a 67 Nova, I need these. Oh yeah, we have these right here. They're 7 inches wide and they got 4 inches of backspace, or it's an 8-inch wide wheel and it's got 4 1/4 backspace. Great, love them. I'm gonna take them, put them on, take them home. That creates a situation where there's not enough backspace. The wheel needs to be inboard more.
Yeah.
Instead, it's out here. On top of that, while I'm in the process of putting new brakes on, or not new brakes, but new wheels, what I want new brakes. I want to look through there and see disc brakes. So you buy this, you see this advertisement for a set of disc brakes for these early Novas. The problem is they're fashioned after, say, like a Camaro or Chevelle or 68 to 72 Nova. This brake kit pushes the wheel. Not only is the wheel out here already, but then that brake kit from the factory drum location moves the wheel out even further by 5/8 of an inch. So you can see the witness marks up here on the fender because the offset of the rim and the offset of the brakes, and now every time they turn, they've rubbed the paint off on both sides of the car.
And that's where, you get the rubbing.
And we can discuss that. You know, it's there's things that we can do to make it work. You can either get a better offset on the rim, leave the disc brakes, leave the rim, and get a better situated brake system. We sell the Willwood kit. Brings the wheels in like the drum would have been.
Yeah.
So that also pushes everything in, but in your situation, you may want to do both.
Yeah. But the reason that this got brought up is because I was thinking about changing the wheels as well. There was a set over on another Nova that I saw and I really liked. So now that that is an option and we talked about that, that's when they mentioned changing the brakes, because if you're going to change one, you might as well go ahead and pick the other component that is meant for these cars.
It's two different options. You can do the rim with more offset, or we swap out the brakes and leave the rim.
Yeah.
Because just by doing that 5/8 of an inch, we got to tape measure and show people 5/8 of an inch. So thumbnail to the thumbnail, that's that much room. Okay. So if that tire, it works. They were driving this car, but yet it was rubbing. So if they could have gained that much room up there, it would have never rubbed. And that's all because of the brake kit.
Yeah.
So if someone were to find themselves in a situation like this,
They have options.
they have options.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is most people need to call and ask.
Yeah.
Will this
It's a
backspace
case by
work?
case situation. So
Because you're going to see these rims all day long at a swap meet, all day long on eBay, all because they're an off-the-shelf wheel. 9 times out of 10, you need a custom-built wheel with a custom offset for these early cars. What people need to do when they have this rubbing issue and they don't have the components like what we have here available to us, what are you going to do? So the only way you can get your tire away from rubbing this is to jack the car up, lift the front of the car up, separate that suspension. Previous owner has installed these spring separators to raise the front of the car up to keep that tire from rubbing on here. So they're just all
which is
the
what
little
you
clues.
don't want to do, and was reiterated that it is not a safe way to achieve what you're looking for, which is why,
It's a Band-Aid.
yeah.
All right, so the teardown, so these are rivets. These rivets are gonna have to come off so that this will come down. And that's probably one of the hardest parts about it. It's very noisy. And the rest of it's just gonna unbolt and fall out.
Okay, so this is probably what your dad was explaining to us earlier, that it was the hardest part.
Yes.
So,
2 to 65 are bolted in.
okay.
And maybe 66,
62 to 64, I think, is bolted.
65, it's riveted. I can't remember 65 was in that. But some of them, the earlier models, are bolted in, just like you see up here in the cross members.
Okay.
So we're going to take this cross member out. It comes out. We replace it with that tubular cross member, but we'll show that.
Yeah.
We'll put all those parts together and compare them. Here's the factory lower arms. Here's the Church Boys lower arms.
Yes.
You'll be able to see how much stronger they are. So the upper control arms, I've done 2 things to allow these to bolt on and correct the geometry. One is I've moved the ball joint toward the back of the car. That adds positive caster.
Okay.
So this control arm goes on the car and the ball joint gets moved back. And when you move the upper ball joint toward the back of the car, that adds positive caster. Positive caster is what gives your car freeway speed stability and helps the steering wheel return back to center.
Okay.
So if there's no caster, so you go to the grocery store and you take your buggy and you walk around, that wheel keeps going like this.
Yes.
That's because it doesn't have caster. It doesn't know if it wants to spin around and go forward or spin around and go backwards, the wheel.
Yeah.
That's why that caster flops.
Okay.
So if you don't have enough caster in your Nova and you're going down the road, that wheel doesn't know if it wants to stay going forward or if it wants to flip around and try and go backwards. So
Yeah.
the more positive caster you have, the wheels laid back, better stability.
Okay.
So how I did that was I have an arrow on these cross shafts, and that arrow faces the front of the car. And you can notice that the bolt pattern is offset on this cross shaft. So when you bolt this up into the factory holes, the whole cross shaft, this whole arm is moved back. See the difference here? So that's what moves it back. And that's so that when you bolt it into your factory chassis, no other modifications are done, you just bolt it in, and now you've gained positive caster. The other thing is I've changed the pivot point. The pivot point from here to here has changed from the factory location. On the factory control arm, and I'll show you on the stock one, the factory control arm, you can see the bolt holes are right in line with the pivot point where it mounts, okay? On mine, the pivot point has changed. So this would be mounted on the car like this, got it? The pivot point is lower than the mounting point. That changes the geometry for camber gain. We'll talk about camber gain later, but that's the second thing that we do with a bolt-on item for the stock Nova to achieve better geometry and better handling.
Okay, so follow the arrows.
Yep, the arrows go to the front. So when we install these, we're going to install the bolts from the engine side in. So when it's mounted up there, this bolt's going to be sticking out in the engine compartment. Once we put the new engine in with the headers and stuff, we'll go back to this bolt and we'll show you how close the headers come to these bolts. So we put the heads this way, come from the engine compartment in and bolt it through like so, so the nut and everything is to this side of the car, which makes no difference, and it gives us as much room as we can from the inside.
Okay. In terms of like torquing anything down, so do you guys kind of just get everything on the car and then go back and tighten things a specific way?
These here, we get all the bolts in, and then we tighten them up.
Okay.
There's no torque sequence on those plates. We're actually just triangulating the front subframe with those plates, just the same as the factory plates did.
Good
So
to
this
know.
one here is arrows facing forward. So which side of the car would that one go on?
This side, right?
Yep. So what I'll do is I'll climb in here.
Looks good. There we go. What are we highlighting with this?
So what'll happen is you'll get a squeak.
Okay.
You sit in the car and it goes squeak, squeak, squeak. Open the door, squeak, squeak, squeak. What happens is the shaft that goes up through. Let me run this up. So as it comes through the top on the shock tower, see how this isn't centered? It wants to favor the inside of this hole. What happens is if it doesn't get centered right out in the very beginning, we want it to be centered. As this car moves and bounces, it rubs right here. So we need to pull this up. So this spring sits on a spring cup. You see, as what I'm doing is I'm rotating that spring around the seat. And as I move it around, see it now, all of a sudden it'll change its location. Okay, see how that's more centered now? It wants to stay in the center.
Yeah.
So that spring pocket up there is indexed, and they typically have a little nub that sticks up through that hole, and that says, okay, that's your location. But the problem is the way these springs are wound, sometimes they wind up in different locations. So it influences the whole shock, because the shock is resting on that upper control arm. And it'll influence this, and we'll push it way over real tight. And then you pull it over here real tight and you crank it down. Well, then after you drive the car, it goes back over. Next thing you go squeak, squeak, squeak. It sounds like a little mouse. So when there's no weight on there, we want to spin that upper spring seat and move the spring so that there's no pressure and it's centered. And that's about where it's at. So that there's no pressure on that, and it'll be centered, so then we can, so there's a fat side and skinny side. The skinny side's gonna go down in there. Just like that. And these will get tightened up so that there's about a 1/16 of that rubber gasket sticking out beyond that washer.
And the component that allowed you to center it is down here,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, it's on, it's the spring. So the bottom of the spring is sitting on the shock.
Okay.
Okay. The top of the spring is sitting on this, and see it's indexed, so the coil is supposed to stop right there, and so that it can support it nice and square. But sometimes it's not indexed properly, and it's turned this way, and it might be forcing the spring one way or the other. So we can rotate this to find that happy center up top, because the shaft is going right up through everything, mounting up here. So this is sitting right below that. We spin this to get the orientation. We move that around.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the lock nut. Has a ton of play.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'll just run that up so it holds it there. We'll go with that for ride height at first, but it's probably going to go up another inch maybe.
Okay.
But we'll see where the ride height sits, but that's a good starting spot.
Okay. What are the purpose of these?
Those are your sway bar bushings.
Okay.
So there's going to be a mount that goes on here and holds it to the frame, and then this hooks to the bracket that goes on the lower control arm, so it helps in handling.
Okay.
Stiffens up your hand. So there's a lot of installing and removing to keep everything centered.
Yeah, but to make it easier as well.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
You gotta get it so it's straight and then
Exactly.
go back. That sway bar ends up, it can move up and down like that. See how little the clearance is between that? That's where that bolt would be.
Yeah.
So we move it to here.
Here, I'll give you the bolt.
Okay.
You have to adjust your link adjuster. It makes it easier to extend it out. Because if you come on this side, you raise this up, you'll see that you have limited space in between everything once you get your bushings in. So when you adjust your link adjusters, installing these, it makes it a whole lot easier. See how it just slides in and out?
Yeah.
If you don't do that first step, you're going to be fighting this either way.
Okay. And then this is when we use the plates.
Square plates, yes. Sometimes you have to work them from the bottom up, like that. And then this other one. Same way. And when we're gonna stick it in, this way, so the head's right here.
Okay.
How many flat washers? Two?
Two.
Okay, put one flat washer on there.
because that helps keep everything tight. And then I gotta bring this back. Alright.
There we go.
That's okay for now. And then you just gotta work it through a little bit. Flat wash, lock washer, no. At this point, I mean, that's pretty much it. You just tighten this down,
Yeah.
which we can get to. And if you look right here on the inside, there's gapping.
Mm-hmm.
That's what those bushings are for.
Okay.
And as soon as you tighten all this down, this will compress a little bit.
Okay.
And all this, when we're done installing, we just go ahead and tighten the link adjuster back down so it gets everything lined up pretty close. And then
Yeah.
when we get the spindles and everything on, we can adjust all this, because that's where your alignment and everything comes into play, is using these to get the camber and everything all squared up and right and in and out.
All right. That's super awesome. And it's super nice that you can adjust this to help you install that.
Yeah.
That's a really nice feature.
So how's it going?
It's going really smoothly. The first
Good.
time that I came up here and he explained the process to us, it sounded pretty simple, and I feel like it's been even more simplified actually seeing it go on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been super smooth, and I've been able to do every single part of the process with some help.
Okay.
So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
So with total guidance, you feel that it's a simple process for the average Joe
Yes.
or average lady?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, everything has went super smoothly. We haven't ran into any issues, and everything makes sense. There's arrows, there's labeling, there's reason to everything. So I've really enjoyed the process.
Well, that's what makes it a nice kit
Yes.
for the installer.
It is extremely nice.
Simple, and everything goes in its original locations.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I was telling you this morning, the hardest part is getting those rivets off.
Yeah, the rivets, and then the only thing that you have to change from factory is this hole.
Yes, the one hole that's not there.
Yeah, that's literally the only
reason
thing.
So that if you put a bolt in there, then the sway bar, when it articulates, will hit.
Mhm.
So you eliminate that. So yes.
Yeah, and we talked about how this gets put upside down.
Yep.
So that also gives more clearance. So we've covered a lot
Every
of
little
bases.
details that you just don't think about when you're
You guys
installing
thought about
something.
it.
Well, been through it, done it, so we know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad it's working out for you.
We had to check out Ryan's car.
Yeah, rumpity rump.
I know, what the heck? I'm just putting all this stuff on. All right, take her off, boys. Let's do it again.
Sure, Chris.
Carlover.
Okay, so the last time that I was in here, we had these on.
Yeah.
We had the control arms on, did this bolt, switched this around, had the sway bar on.
Yep. So we hooked
So
that.
this is new.
Put the rack cross member in the rack in.
Okay.
We put your sway bar bracket on the lower control arm and hooked your sway bar up.
Okay.
And then the spindles went on with the new Willwood brake bracket.
Is there anything specific that you had to change around in terms of something facing a different way for clearance or?
No.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. We do put blue Loctite on these bolts that go into the spindle, and there's a spacer there, and then you got a couple shims. So when you bolt this tight, there's shims that go in here to make sure that it's perfectly.
Aligned?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing we're gonna do when we put your tie rod ends on, you'll see there's 2 holes, and there's a, does it say power and manual?
Yes.
So if you're doing a power rack, you put it in the first hole. If
Okay.
you're doing a manual rack, you stick it in the second hole.
Okay.
Gives you more leverage.
Perfect. I also asked if there were guidelines, and he said that there were, in terms of where to set these, because you guys have measurements here off of other cars that you've worked on. But he said that basically the measurements are like roughly about 5 inches.
Yeah, so we go from the center line of bolt to the end of the tube.
Mm-hmm.
That gets you very, very close for an alignment, but then you have to go to the alignment shop,
Yeah.
and then they'll adjust this with this turnbuckle, lengthen or shorten it. Same with here. You get the camber and the caster.
That last car that we did, it was within like 1/8 of an inch of that and a 16th of an inch of that. So it does.
It's
come
very,
out
very, very close. Yeah.
What's taking so long?
Gift.
So what you got to do is trying to get grease all inside this thing. So
Okay.
you take it, you push it against the palm of your hand like
Okay.
that. And after you do it a few times, see it start to come up through the top.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You gotta go all the way around until it's completely packed.
There we go. So we ordered a few things for this today to get parts that would actually work. One of them being the oil pan.
Yes.
Do you want to walk us through what we got today to replace, why we're replacing it, all the good stuff?
Yep. So the oil pans, not all pans, are made the same. And when we go to the rack and pinion, the rack, this would be your oil pan underneath the car. So the rack is going to run right underneath here. Okay. If the pan is too deep from the block to the bottom of this front sump right behind the harmonic balancer, if it's too deep, it'll sit on the rack. You won't be able to bolt the engine up.
Yeah.
So we have a dimension that we measure from the pan surface to here. It needs to be 4 inches or less. And you can see we're right at 4 inches with this new pan.
And this one, we were
On that one,
Yeah. It's like,
so yes, it's a little bit oily, but we're what, 4.5? So as the rack travels right underneath the pan, it's just gonna hit the pan. It's never gonna be able to bolt up.
I got
Exactly.
one
Yes,
because
stocks-
it had this
yes.
fancy little
That's the
cutout,
factory
and
steering.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
But we're not using that stock steering, right? We're doing the rack
Yeah.
and pinion. So in a factory steering car, that's just fine, not a problem.
Yeah.
So
But if you're getting the upgrade, you need this oil pan.
yes, you need a proper front sump oil pan that's not so deep in the front. And we're measuring from the block surface right here to where the pan sits, and that's right behind the harmonic balancer.
We are wrapping up day 1 here, and I am very pleased with the progress that we've made. Everything has come together so quick and so efficiently and so easy. I just absolutely love it. So I wanted to ask you what you're thinking of the project so far.
I think it's amazing. I see it every day.
Yeah.
You would think we're used to it, but when you bring in a car, a nice car like this, and it's got that antiquated suspension on it, and in less than 8 hours, we've removed it all. Upper control arms, lower control arms, big sway bar, power rack and pinion, tie rod ends, Willwood brakes, coilovers. It's a complete transformation, and it isn't just a restoration. It's get it done, get it out and drive it, and miles of smiles.
Yeah, which is something that I think is still so shocking because we talked about it the first time that I was here about how easy and efficient it is and that people can do it at home. And, you know, I had a little doubt, and I also thought that it was because, you know, we're going to be in a shop and we're going to have all of these people. And even though there was multiple people working on it throughout the time, there was only like 1 or 2 people working on it at one time specifically. So people would come in and out and everything, but all of this 2 people could do. So that is something that was really cool to see with my own eyes and actually experience it and know exactly how long that I've been here and make this a day 1 video so you guys can literally see in real time, like I'm wearing the same clothes, like this happened in one day, and that is so crazy to me. So I love it. I'm very pleased with the entire process. So I look forward to day 2. I'm sure we have a game plan that we will talk about.
We do?
Yeah.
We do. I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet, but
Yeah.
we do have a plan, and we're going to move our way back.
Yeah, so we are going to be here tomorrow and for the next couple of following days, so we'll have a video for all of those, but this is to wrap up day 1.
Perfect.